Tonight, we're breaking down one of the most talked about moments from the recent UN General Assembly, a speech that sparked headlines worldwide. Former President Donald Trump took the stage and, true to form, delivered remarks filled with controversy, exaggeration, and sound bites designed to dominate the news cycle. He accused the United Nations of being corrupt, told European nations they were going to hell, and repeated his claim that climate change is the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world. He even suggested that NATO should shoot down Russian aircraft if they cross into alliance territory. That's a lot to unpack, so let's take it step by step. Climate change claim. Trump dismissed climate change as a scam, but here's the reality. Scientists overwhelmingly disagree. NASA, NOAA, and the IPCC all document rising global temperatures, melting ice sheets, stronger storms, and rising sea levels. These are not political talking points, they're measurable facts. You can argue about the best policies or the pace of change, but denying the problem altogether ignores decades of evidence. Critics say Trump's rhetoric plays well with voters frustrated by regulations and high energy prices, but it doesn't erase the data. Europe, going to hell. Trump also painted a grim picture of Europe, claiming migration and green energy are dragging nations into collapse. Let's look at the numbers. Yes, migration has triggered political backlash and social strain. Yes, energy transitions have raised costs in some regions. But Europe remains home to some of the world's strongest economies and highest standards of living. Germany, France, and the Nordic countries are hardly going to hell. Trump's phrasing works as a headline, but it oversimplifies complex issues into fear-based sound bites. The UN is corrupt. This part of his speech wasn't new. Trump has long criticized the UN for bureaucracy and inefficiency. And to be fair, there's truth there. The UN often moves slowly, and its Security Council veto system blocks decisive action. But dismissing the entire institution ignores what it does right, from humanitarian aid to peacekeeping to refugee support. Cutting U.S. funding weakens those programs and leaves space for rival powers like China and Russia to expand influence. Reform is needed, yes. Abandonment is reckless. NATO and Russia. One of Trump's sharper comments came on NATO. He endorsed the idea that if Russian aircraft violate NATO airspace, they should be shot down. For once, that aligns with the alliance's own doctrine. Russia has repeatedly tested NATO's borders with drones and jets, not by accident, but to measure resolve. International security experts warn that failing to respond firmly risks encouraging more provocations. In this case, Trump's bluntness echoes what many in NATO already argue: deterrence must be credible. Final take. So what do we make of this speech? It's vintage Trump, dramatic, confrontational, and built for headlines. But when stripped of theatrics, the claims range from misleading to exaggerated, with only occasional overlap with reality. For viewers at home, the challenge is separating showmanship from substance. And that's what we'll keep doing here, breaking down the noise, fact-checking the claims, and giving you the context you need to make sense of the headlines.